somewhere, deep in the Mississippi backwoods, are two red-blooded American males who don't have enough sense to fear anything but God Almighty. Welcome to the Freedom, Recovery, Educational, Entertainment Podcast, giving America back her soul.
What's going on, Bubba?
Well, just want to welcome everybody to the F.R.E.E. podcast. It's going to be me and you.
Boy, they got a hell of a team.
Bless her heart. First of all, we want to say, no matter what, under any circumstances, this is 100% entertainment. If you take what me and him say as fact, it's going to be a long day for you, buddy.
It's going to be a long day, yeah. So, I just say what I think. You know what I'm saying, no? Or how I feel.
I ain't too far behind you on that one.
Yeah.
All right. Did you vote today?
Nope.
How come?
Because I come over here to do this with you, man.
Yeah, you ain't wrong. I almost didn't vote today. I kicked it around. We ain't got nobody to vote for me. Nobody.
No.
I voted for our local stuff.
Well, sure. And I understand why you did, but I just, I was working. And I really wasn't into it, really, because a lot of times I vote for people and they don't do what they say they're going to do, so.
Yeah, we got one right now that did that very thing.
Yeah, he's really let us down big time.
But you got a Democrat, that's a Democrat. He ain't nothing but a Democrat.
Well, he's in disguise.
He tries to act like he's something else, but I mean, he ain't, and he may win.
Yeah, he probably will.
Let's pray to God he don't. But I'll be honest with you, he can't be worse than
Well, I'm a gray, so I'm kind of, I should have.
I voted for that Gray lady.
Yeah.
She was independent. Gwendolyn Gray.
Well, I appreciate you voting for the Ken folks.
I don't know nothing about her, but I know this. If she wins, it's got to be a lot better than them other two.
Right. And she ran as what?
She runs independent.
Independent. Well, here's the thing. It's like you always said, man. If you got a boot on your neck,
Don't matter if it's a left boot or the right boot.
that's exactly right.
And here lately, what I've been telling everybody is, if you got a thief stealing out of your pocket, does it really matter if he's stealing with the left hand or the right hand?
That's right. And they're stealing too, man. I'm gonna tell you what. We paying a bunch of taxes and stuff, and it's, the roads ain't even really fit to drive on. You know what I mean? It beats my old truck to death every morning going to work.
Yeah.
Because they hadn't been serviced like they need to be. They just.
Well, I come down. I had to go to Tennessee today, and I come back down 45, but I cut off on old 45. What was that, Take Street?
Yep.
And I cut off, and I come down through there, and it's all the way down through there.
Absolutely.
And then I run.
It's a bad part of town. I mean, oh
yeah, I see so. Well, think about it. I run downtown because I seen. Well, I just said old Bucks there on. He had something on Facebook with that meatloaf.
Right.
I said, boy, I'm gonna get down there and get a bite of that.
Yeah.
He didn't have it when I got there. It
So
was
we're not really in much of a discreet part of the country anymore. All these places you're describing.
Yeah,
I mean,
we may
people
edit some of that out.
People
I don't care if anybody knows. Buck's a good place to eat, but
Yeah.
and you may not know where that is.
I got chicken in there.
Yeah, they got them quesadillas pretty good.
Yeah.
But and this is not a plug.
But back to what you were saying. What you were saying about
But I was talking about the roads. That's and I tell you what got me to vote, and I wasn't going to vote. I intentionally wasn't going to vote. And I said, well, I'm downtown. My granddaddy's buried over at National Cemetery downtown. Yeah. And I said, I'm going to go explain to him why I ain't going to vote.
Yeah. Well, I ain't been downtown a long time. I mean, really, I hadn't. I try not to go town no more than I have to.
Well, I was going to go sit on his grave and tell him why I voted I ain't never missed an election since I was 18 years old.
You
When
know,
I stationed in Korea, I voted absentee.
hey, you know what? Your papa, he anticipated a lot of this,
Mm-hmm.
but I still think he'd be really blown away by the way things are going.
I think he'd be mad.
Well, sure he would. Why wouldn't he?
I think he'd be mad. I mean, I'm mad.
Well, Lord.
And
me
if
too.
I'm mad, I know he's been mad for 10
I
years.
I don't need to get too mad though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I try not to get too mad. I try to just, man, I'm out in the country all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm serious, man, and enjoying just being out away from everybody. And
We ain't exactly what you'd call people persons.
well, I'm a people person, you know, but if I'm talking to somebody that don't have no common sense,
Yeah.
it can lead off in the left field real quick, you know. I mean,
Well,
I'm just, I mean, I rely on common sense more than I do anything.
I'm gonna tell you something, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I talk a lot of smack about people, and I don't mean people from here, and you don't either. We get mad when we see those people on the news and in these big cities, and they ain't never worked a day in their life, and running their head about stuff they have no clue about. But I'm gonna tell you, I come by here about 11 o'clock this morning, run by the store, and there's a line all the way out the store is folks getting their lunch, and they just
One
getting it in
girl
the
in there
store.
working, and
That's
everybody going to work,
That's
wide
exactly
open,
right.
trying to get in and out. Well, luckily, a little place I stopped by over in next county over, they got actually 2 girls.
Yeah.
So
Well, and you think all them guys and girls, and there's girls out there working, I don't mean nothing by that, but they're in a line and they're buying junk from a gas station. Nothing wrong with gas station food, just saying they don't have time to go get them something good to eat.
well, they might be more wrong with gas station food than you think.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
you know, you can
I'm just
overlook it
saying.
if you want to, but you know, like, I get what you're saying. But it's getting that way everywhere. And what I tell people all the time, man, is this is what's fixing to be teaching your children.
Yeah.
You gotta think about that. This is what's fixing to be teaching the kids. You go to one of these fast food restaurants, you order a hamburger and you get a chicken sandwich.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
And God forbid you handle
But we can talk about that. I mean, that all day long. But you know something you said to me when I first got here earlier, me and you was having a conversation, and you was talking about, you remember you said that being safe is.
Oh yeah, it is being safe is not freedom,
No.
and
right.
being free is not
Yeah.
safe.
That's a fact.
The fact is, we live in a society now that wants everybody to be safe, but that has nothing to do with freedom. And sometimes freedom is dangerous. I mean, you look at Moses walked through the desert for 40 years, but he was free of bondage.
Right.
He was out of the slavery of the Pharaohs, but it was dangerous. They were walking through the desert for 40 years.
Exactly. And that's the way it is. You know, if you want to be free, it's not going to be safe at all.
No.
Your safety's going to be up to you if you want to be free. That's the whole thing. But if you want change,
they
be
got
safe,
change for you in this
if you want
call
to be
safe.
safe, you're going to be in chains.
That's I go down to where some of my family lives down in South Mississippi, and they live in some of the bigger cities around Jackson, and they live in these subdivisions, and these subdivisions are gated, and boy, they're nice, but you better have that grass, they ain't you a quarter. or they'll come find you.
Boy, sure.
They'll if you have your garage door open more than 4 hours, they'll come
I
right you
wish
a
I
ticket.
could get mine to grow that much. If I could get it to just grow 1.25 inches, I'd be doing good.
But I don't want somebody, man. That's to me, that's the most horrible form of living there could possibly be.
Man,
is living in one of these subdivisions and having somebody to tell you and looking like robots going to work every morning. I almost moved down there and did that. But,
well, I mean, where I live, I have some neighbors, and they're not right next to me. You can't really see them from my house, right? So you see the cows across the road and smell them sometimes too, but that don't bother me. I'd rather smell that as a dumpster,
right?
And my thing is, out there, man, it's if I got hurt and couldn't mow my yard, and it got to be over that, the old fella now he walks with a cane, and sometimes when it gets bad, he's got a walker.
Yeah.
But he'd come over and mow it.
Yeah. Well, when I was sick, Dawn come over here. Your wife come over here and clean my house.
Yeah.
And I was sick in the hospital.
Well, sure, you were bad off.
Jeremy, my neighbor there, he come over and cut my grass. Roger come cut my grass.
Yeah.
Didn't charge me a penny for it.
The Powers guy, he cut it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you something.
I'm telling you,
thank
man,
God
we
for
live
people like that.
We live in the best part of the country.
That's right.
Me and you both have been from like Fargo, North Dakota, to Opelousas, Louisiana, and LA to New York.
Yeah, man, I've been
everywhere in between.
Yeah.
Me and Dawn together, my wife has just been. We've been to every state except for Alaska and Hawaii.
Yep.
In the United States together.
Right.
And man, if you ain't been out and seen the beautiful sights of Wyoming,
oh man, it's beautiful. The Badlands in North Dakota.
Yes, and
I was telling a friend today. She said she was going to Vegas. I said, go up. You remember St. George, Utah, up there?
Yeah.
Go up, like going to St. George and go through Arizona and see that Virgin River Canyon.
Right.
Boy, that's beautiful.
But as far as the people,
bless her heart.
and we just got right here. We got the best people.
Yep.
In the world.
And the best food.
In the world.
Mm-hmm.
In the world. And well, I'd say in the world, but I ain't never been outside the U.S.
I have.
But anyways, yeah, I enjoy living here. I enjoy my life in Mississippi.
I tell people all the time.
You got to watch for cottonmouths and copperheads sometimes.
Yeah. And
but they may be in the stores too.
And you got to work. You got to be real careful because you don't never know this. And a lot of people watching this don't know this, and a lot of people just out there in the whole world don't know this. Them copperheads and them cottonmouths and them alligators, you can watch them, and you got to be real careful what shoes you got on when you're fishing on account of them grizzly bears. But there's a little old bird about that big.
Oh yeah.
It'll come out from under a bridge.
Yeah, you don't like those, do you? Scared to death.
I'd rather see a spider or a snake any day as I had a bird.
Well, I've seen you act crazy over. I've seen you act crazy over some birds.
Yeah, you've seen me
But
knock my hat nearly me in the water.
I guess the more you're around stuff, the more you know. What would you do if you was a falconer? If you was out with a falconer and a big hawk on the land on your arm, I guess that'd be out, wouldn't it?
I'd just go swimming.
Yeah.
I just get up and give him my chair.
Yeah. So anyways, part of what we're doing here is a freedom, recovery, educational entertainment. And it's a podcast. And we'll take and edit a bunch of this stuff.
I think, and I don't know, I think you'd agree, because we may have talked about this a time or two. But I think the main thing we're trying to do is, and we say it a couple times, is give this country her soul back, where she came from. We went, you know, you can
back
trace
to God, basically, man.
Yeah.
You know, you got to start with that, and with, you know, what it was built on.
You can trace all our problems, just about all our problems, I'd say 90% of our problems, to the fact that we industrialized an agricultural nation. We started out as an agricultural nation, and we started out as a self-sufficient nation. And this running back and forth to a job somewhere and all that kind of stuff that isn't how we started. And it's not natural to us, and I think that's where a lot of our problems come in at.
Well, a lot of it, Will, is you don't feed the bears. When you go up there to the Smoky Mountains, you with me?
Mm-hmm.
You go up there to the Smoky Mountains, what does the sign say?
Don't feed the bears.
Why?
Because they become accustomed to it.
And
And they
dependent.
won't hunt.
And they'll come after you every time they see you.
That's right.
They're going to go to him and try to eat.
That's exactly right.
Okay? So, I guess a lot of what I'm trying to get at is, you know, me and you drive old pickups.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we don't have to make big truck payments
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that.
That was in the glove box.
Anyways, the matter of my point here is that, you know, certain people's got to have certain things. I think that a lot of people run themselves in debt because, you know, when they're miserable, they try to find happiness in things.
And happiness is not in things.
And all that being said is they run themselves in that position to where every week is a struggle. They live check to check. But what kicks my butt is I know guys that don't even have a job
Mm-hmm.
that's driving trucks nicer than mine and yours.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And don't know how.
No.
Do you know that
And they're as able to take care of themselves as me and you are.
Do you know if you're a drug addict or an alcoholic, that the federal government will send you a check?
Absolutely.
Why?
If you want it.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really.
Well, because they look at it as a disease, and to a certain point, you know.
I'm not mad at an addict. I understand. I don't want to be around an addict while they're in the middle of their addiction, but I understand addiction is a real thing and it's a real disease and all that kind of stuff.
You know, there's so many people in this world right now that is getting their medicines adjusted and stuff. Okay, that's worse than being on any kind of street drug you could be on.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you go. I went to a doctor, and I still go to her. She doesn't. Anyways, the moral of the story is, I went in there, and she said, "Was there anything else you need?" And I said, "Well, I'd like to quit smoking cigarettes." And so she gave me Wellbutrin, and told me to get the patches and everything. But I went home after I got my prescriptions filled and paid for it. I went home and got to researching, Wellbutrin.
That's dangerous.
It takes 2 weeks to get off of it.
Yeah.
Well, what if anyways, you have, what the problem for me is, you have police officers, you have firefighters, you have EMTs, people like this, that is, all these, they're everyday people.
Mm-hmm.
And they're being prescribed stuff like this, and they're getting their stuff adjusted and everything. So what I'm saying is just, you ever run into somebody out going to Lowe's, blow the horn at you, or you toot your horn to tell them the light's green,
Mm-hmm.
and they jump out of the truck and want to lose their mind?
Yeah, they don't do that. here. But
Well,
yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me throw this at you, and you speaking of that stuff. When I was sick, that doctor prescribed me, and he did it. I mean, I was sick. I needed it.
Yeah.
He prescribed me Oxycontin
Mm-hmm.
first thing in the morning, hydrocodone before I eat lunch, and then I think hydrocodone again before I went to bed, and then something to help me sleep because he said that hydrocodone would probably keep me awake. And so I took that, and I was in severe. I mean, I had cancer. I was in severe pain. I was going through chemotherapy, and when I stopped hurting, I quit taking it.
Yeah. Well, lucky you.
And well,
Lucky
I didn't. There's two things I didn't want to leave that whole cancer thing with.
Right.
If I made it out of that deal, I didn't want to leave there a drug addict or bankrupt.
Well,
I didn't want. Now bankrupt, I got bad close to, but drug addict, I didn't make. But I went to get my chemo treatment that week, and right before I get there, my nurse practitioner, and she's a good friend of mine, personal friend. We go to church together. In fact, we in Sunday school together. Super nice lady. And she asked me. She said, "Are there any changes? You know, before you start this chemo, they want to know all this kind of stuff." And I said, "I can't quit shaking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shaking like I got, palsy or something like that."
Yeah, I remember that.
And she said, "Well, what is it? Are you taking your sodium?" "Yes, ma'am." "You taking your magnesium?" "Yes, ma'am." "What about your Oxycontin?" "No, ma'am, I quit taking that." She said, "You did what?" I said, "I quit taking that. I wasn't hurt no more, so I quit taking it. I don't want to be no addict."
Absolutely not.
And she said,
And
"You
that
can't
stuff,
just quit."
I don't know. Of course, I've had procedures done before, and I just don't know what nobody gets out of it.
No,
I mean, it just
it made
me sick as a dog.
Well, and it made me mad about everything.
Oh yeah.
Any little thing, I'd get mad. It just touched off just like that.
Yeah, sure enough.
Oh, and it didn't
I
even
like
know.
drinking whiskey.
Yeah, that's right. I'd get mad as a hornet over any little thing.
That's how a lot of this happens, in a lot of ways. As far as like drugs, like Adderall and stuff like that, it really messes with people's mind. And I've been prescribed Adderall.
Well, they said
and I took it, and look, I was walking out of my clothes.
They said that Adderall was one molecule off.
Right.
Is it crystal meth or crack cocaine or something?
No,
like that?
it's
Now I'm not a scientist or anything. I don't know if that's true or not.
Well,
I've
it's
never
one
took
molecule
Adderall.
off, they say, from the amphetamines.
Yeah.
But anyways, the moral of the story again is, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about it to even be talking on it.
No,
but I knew one damn thing.
I don't know.
It wasn't for me.
Yeah, I don't know part of it.
It wasn't for me.
Oh.
And I know people who, they say they're more productive on it and everything. Well, what we just say.
And meth heads up 3 o'clock in the morning rebuilding this table. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, everybody's a little more productive on it, but look at what the end result is.
Yeah. So, anyways.
My question is, and we need to get off this drug subject, but my question when it comes to any kind of drugs like that, if you get on the drug, isn't the main goal to get off of that drug?
Yes.
To get healed and then get off.
Well, you look at it like it's right here, and then we'll, like you said, we'll move forward. But you take people that have that problem and they go to a doctor and they say that I've become addicted to this or whatever, and the first thing they do is put them on like methadone.
Yeah, that's right.
Or Subutex.
All that stuff right there
it's
is
legal
government
dope.
selling drugs.
Legal dope.
The government said, you know what, we ain't getting rich enough off these drugs.
let's go back to the chemo thing you're talking about. See, what people don't realize is that, you know, if a doctor prescribes a bunch of antibiotics, and say he makes 5,000 prescriptions for this antibiotic, they'll send him off to Cancun or something for that.
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now, if that doctor, when it comes to chemo, that doctor buys that chemo for $4,000 or $5,000, and then turns around and sells it to you for $15,000.
Right.
And that's my problem.
Well,
and not to mention that I've seen studies where, you know, that chemo is not as successful for everybody as it was for you.
Right. And it was successful for me.
Well, great.
But
I mean, I'm grateful for that, but at the same
I'm
time,
proud of that myself.
I'm sure you are.
But you look at this. I'd sit in that chemo room at the clinic there, and they're good folks, man. Them nurses in there, gosh, they got a fast trip to heaven, Jack. But there's a circle in there, and it's reclining chairs all in this circle. And I counted one day, and there's 20 of them chairs in there. Chemo chairs. Well, I had to be in there for 4 hours. Now, they're open from 8 in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening. And I was there for, 4 hours every day for a week solid. Well, any time I was there, they wasn't never a chair open. I mean, they was all full. And they charged me, of course, insurance paid most of mine, But they charged me, I think the insurance said, it was between $500 and $1,000 per treatment.
Wow.
And
that's pretty good.
Well,
but you had to have a bunch of treatment.
But I had to have five in a
treatment.
week, so that's $5,000 in a week. Well, there's 20 chairs. Now, I had a different chemo than everybody around there. Everybody had something different. I don't know what they charged, but I'm gonna say I was on the low end. So, 20 times 1,000. That's 20 grand sitting in them chairs right there. And that's just for 4 hours.
So that's just one racket.
Yeah.
And I'm calling it a racket. I know it saved your life.
Yeah.
But I'm saying,
It's
lot
a
of people
double-edged sword.
It is a double-edged sword. Yeah. And you know that.
I've seen, and I don't know because I didn't do nothing
Because we
different.
discussed it before we done it.
I'm a lot dumber than them doctors are. But I don't always believe everything the doctor says.
Exactly.
Because you know me, I don't.
Yeah.
I question everything.
The
but
fight you have in you is gonna have a lot to do with
Right.
what. Because I seen you really weak and everything.
yeah, you seen me
Oh yeah.
all the way down Natchez Trace.
But I didn't take pictures of you and put you on Facebook.
Gosh, and I think
Man, I tell you what, that's one thing I tell all my buddies don't do. If I'm ever sick and in the hospital and got a tube down my throat, do not take pictures of
And
me.
I'm gonna tell you something else, and I mean this right from the bottom of my heart. If I'm dead in a coffin, and you go taking pictures of me in that coffin and putting it on Facebook, I ain't gonna do that little light honking, where you say, "Oh, the lights are flickering in there."
Rattling
I'm gonna
chains.
pour a flyer on the table and write my name in big letters on it.
I hear you.
I'm gonna do some major honking. I'm gonna throw dishes out the cabinet and everything else.
Well, I hope everybody start spending a little time with us on freedom recovery, educational, entertainment,
Well,
podcast. And
here's one thing you gotta remember about this podcast. We may use a little vulgar language between us
Not
when we're out and about. On this podcast, we're gonna try to keep it where your kids can watch, and it won't be something you'd be ashamed to watch in front of your kids.
Your kids ain't gonna be interested in none of this.
No, they might, but you might want to show it to them every
Good
night.
Lord.
But we're also not a news channel. By no means. If you getting your news from us, you're gonna be in bad shape come tomorrow.
That's a fact.
Another thing. This is just our opinion. Your opinion might be different.
Right. You believe everything you see on Facebook, might as well believe this.
His opinion is different than my opinion. Your opinion is different than his opinion.
Yeah.
Look, just get what you can and roll on.
Roll on.
But now we Jesus men. So,
We Jesus.
but if you ain't, we still love you.
He loves you.
But anything else?
Yep. You either for it or you against it.
Yeah. And we don't care if you Democrat, Republican, Independent. I'm a pretty strict libertarian.
Yep.
I don't agree with all these Republican points, and I don't agree with any of the Democrat points. So, you know, I don't care what your political affiliation is, because we may not be talking politics. A lot of people have a misconception. They think social issues are political issues, and they're really not. Social issues are social issues, political issues are political issues. You can be a Democrat and not believe abortion's right, and it's okay.
I love some Democrats. My papa's a Democrat.
Yeah.
Old-fashioned Democrat,
Yeah.
but he don't know what it means to say that these days.
Well,
I got him a flat bill for Christmas.
and we love
That way we
every,
could identify him, you know, when he walks in, we make sure we know he's a
and
Democrat.
we're gonna have him on here. But we love everybody in every walk of life. And I'm gonna tell you something else. If you a Pentecostal, if you a Church of Christ, if you a Baptist, it doesn't matter. If you worship Jesus, we'll worship right along
Red,
with
yellow,
you.
black, or white.
Yeah, we'll worship right along with you.
That's right.
So everybody's welcome.
That's right.
Anything else?
Yep, I'm going to the house. 4 o'clock's gonna come early in the morning.
It sure is, and that's what time I gotta be.
I gotta go out and work for some of these folks who won't.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a smart aleck about it too.
Yeah, I'm kind of mad about that.
But anyways, hope everybody has a good evening, and you can expect this a couple of times a week maybe, because we're gonna take everything we do here and put it together. We have another video going over there, and
We're gonna kind of condense it, put it on YouTube, maybe Rumble. A couple
somebody
other things.
likes
It's gonna be a little more edited than it is on here,
if you
and
like
we may
it,
do a
watch
little
it.
Facebook Live too to go along with it. So,
Yeah. If you don't like it, you don't watch it.
yeah, that's right. There's always that option.
I appreciate both y'all sticking with me though. I bet one of them's one of my friends, one of the years.
Did you tag me in it?
No, I didn't tag nobody.
I don't know how to do all that. That TikTok something you made. So.
That's right. Well, y'all have a good night.
Love
Peace
y'all.
out.